All right, we're live. Welcome, Wayne.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Pleasure speaking with you for the first time in video.
A while. Yeah, I probably can't see the chat unless I pull it up, so I'll just not mess with anything right now, if that's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Skip that for sure. I'll
Okay.
read any questions, and better if it's not streaming because it tends to screw up the stream. Anyway, all right. So we'll jump right in. Wayne, why don't we do a brief history lesson of
Okay.
who you are, how you got into the industry, and what you've done, and so on, for those who don't know you.
Okay. Well, I was a Subway worker, builder at Subway Sandwich, and then I had a night job at Slick Willie's making Subway sandwiches or just subs. And then one day I was on the phone at the Easy Mart, calling a friend when they had payphones still around. And I just got my windows tinted at a company named Auto Audio in Little Rock. So the gentleman was coming back from the Easy Mart and he saw my car and he looked at it and it was a tent shop right next door. So he started asking me questions about where I got it done and how much better they could have done it back when we were doing strips, not dry shrinking.
Mhm.
And the more he talked, the more I got interested in it. And I really didn't want to be a sub builder, nothing against that, but I just didn't want to do that. So I asked him, are you hiring? He said, yeah, my boss is going to be hiring a cleaner soon. So I said, well, can I talk to him? And it was right there next door. So we walked right over there and I talked to his boss and he said, well, come back in a couple of weeks and, I'll be hiring a cleaner. I said, well, I really don't want to come back in a couple of weeks and have the job be gone like 5 minutes before I get there or whatever. So I said, I'd like the job now. And he goes, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to hire for a couple of weeks. So I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, if you hire me now, I'll work for you for free for 2 weeks. You don't got to pay me anything. And if you don't like my work ethic in that 2 weeks or anything about me or whatever, you can let me go. No hard feelings. And so he hired me on the spot. And that's pretty much how I got into window tinting. And then
Nice.
a few
And
months,
what year was that approximately?
that was in 86, close to 87.
Okay. And have you been tinting since?
I've tinted for about 18 years in the industry, and I had my own shop. And then Hurricane Rita came through, or no, I'm sorry, Hurricane Ike came through and kind of just blew it all to shreds. So I just sat down for a couple of weeks, and I was working on an invoice. My boss had an invoice where there's a little cartoon car, and makes a customer sign off. No, there's a dent here, there's a scratch here. You can't
Sure.
blame me for that later. So I thought that's a good idea. Let me do that while I'm sitting here doing nothing. And I made up a little invoice, and one thing led to another. And I thought, it'd be really cool if I could tint the windows on this invoice or something. So I got into my Flash, Adobe Flash program, and I got a couple of pictures, nothing great. And I, alphabetized the windows, started working with that. And then I made the program, a program of mine, VisualTinter. And then the hurricane was, long gone. They rebuilt my shop, went back, and I played with it in my shop for a few months. Uh, and then another storm came through and destroyed the roof on it.
Hmm.
So I was back out again for another couple of weeks. And after the response I got from in my shop, I went ahead and just did that full time.
The response
I
you
did,
had from using the VisualTinter software that you developed.
yeah, and then I did that for a while, and after that, I developed a couple of tools.
So, speaking of the tools, I have the tool that we're going to talk about today, and this is what you've just developed this tool, right? Or it's, I
Let the
mean, this is
bubble.
yeah. And
Yeah, but that's okay.
say again.
I said it left a bubble imprint apparently from where they wrapped it at.
It did leave a bubble imprint. It was. I was going to ask you about that because honestly, I wasn't sure if that was part of like the design, but now it makes sense that you're saying it's bubble wrap. But I assume that's probably because you rushed to get it over to me after you made it.
Well, that one is not normally a paint that I would use, but I know you love purple,
Yeah.
so
So
went to like four stores looking for the right kind of purple, and that just happens to be a chrome cover, which is not as good as an enamel or you know what I mean, enamel based paint. So that's probably why I did it.
So, you asked me, like, we didn't get a chance to talk about this since I opened the box. You asked me what I thought of it. I told you I hadn't opened the box yet before, a few days ago. I'll tell you, my first response when I opened this was, this is super well made. So, like, I know it's a prototype, but, like, the way everything fits in, because, like, I don't know, my mind just goes to, like, you made something, it's just the beginning. How good could it be? But, I mean, this Olfa fits perfectly. It stops. It doesn't go through. It doesn't go the other way. It's easy to go the other way. I mean, I'm not trying to sell this, but it does fit. I mean, these tools slide in and out perfectly. So that's my first thought on it. Is this is a really quality, compact little holster.
Well, thank you.
So you tell me, what were you intending for? What are you going for? Because I mean, I assume that's what it is, but you tell me
Um,
more.
I skydived for about 20 years, and of course, wearing an apron, tinting, getting in the back windows, crouching down. I'm a thin guy, so it didn't bother me as much, but everyone's not the same. And crawling in the back window, trying to hang a back window, you're cramped in a spot when your gut's all you got. You know, you're pushing, you're using, things are poking you. So I like to shoot. My dad left me an old time Western gun. I twirl my keys. I used to go into the car. I like twirling the gun, and that was the old west. I was out back shooting my gun, and I thought, what if I put a hole in my squeegee? I can just twirl it around just for shits and giggles, no big deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking around the shop twirling my squeegee, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Well, okay, whatever. You like twirling your keys. Now you want to twirl something inside the shop when you're not in your car. So I was back out doing that again, and I had my squeegee and I'm twirling it in the back of the shop. And I thought, well, what if I had a holster for this? And this is like what I do with my gun or my keys. I just twirl my keys and my gun. So I went right to the auto parts store and got a can of Bondo because it's easier to work with than clay, especially clay you have to dry and set. So I went and got Bondo. I wrapped up the squeegee with some blue tape and just molded around it and shaved it down, sanded it, put the outside piece on it. I built the first one, which was this one. And don't look at the name because I know there's a company out there with Quick Draw, spelled Quick.
Yep.
But before I do that, I was drinking a Nestle Quick, and that was the first one that I made.
Nice.
Uh, I just like the old West theme, you know what I mean? I thought it was kind of cool, and it is like a holster. So I made that one, and I went and used it in a shop that I was training for probably about 3 or 4 months because I almost bought the shop, but then it just didn't go through. Um, and I liked it. It worked. It wasn't in my way. Even though the knife comes out in the bottom, it never touched the car. I always knew where it was at, but it didn't touch the car because you're not leaning against the car most of the time. And I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it. The only thing I didn't like about it was whenever I remade the mold and started having them painted and worked on more, I found that there was a thinness in it. So I redeveloped it later. But I was just using it for me. I really didn't have any intention of selling it or doing anything else with it at the time. And then I had a kid. And then just a couple of years ago, I started working on a newer version of it, which you have right now.
Hmm.
Uh, and this was the ugly one that I made the first time.
Yeah. I mean, this is so. Is this the material that it's going to be made out of?
Yeah, I'm making out of a urethane resin. It seems the most durable. It's really good against water. Of course, it's painted, but the inside's not. And so, your squeegee comes in, now there's water in there. You can always rinse it out really easily. Uh, then I felt that was the best product right now for the first
So you
one.
can
That's what.
take you can take all the tools out. You can put it underwater, and it's totally good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. And
And
it's
then
no weak points on it anymore, like the first one that I had. And I didn't know that until 6 months later when I popped the hole in it. And I'm like, well, it lasted this long, but I still decided to redo it.
and it's
And
even
then we
if you see in there, there's kind of like a notch right there,
that's
and
see
like that's where
red.
this slides right perfectly in for this back part of the Olfa. And that's pretty cool because that's the detail of
It's
it.
also curved, so you can do the red dot in there if you notice.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's rounded, so the square works on this, but then the red dot would work on the yeah, for the circle
Correct.
for the back. So if I drop this, what happens? It's basically like plastic, right? Urethane.
If you drop that, it probably wouldn't break. If you run it over with a
Well, you're not going
car
to run
like
it over. We don't have to run it over. But what
okay,
happens if we just drop it? If I drop it a few times, it's nothing's going to happen.
it should be fine, other than scratching the paint, obviously, because you're probably on a cement floor. No, nothing should happen at all.
And then Chamal asked, I just want to ask in here, he already asked where he can get one. Are these available yet?
Yes, we have that one right there that I sent you,
Yeah.
and then we have the one for the people who use the shorty handle
Okay.
with the same tool, same part in that. On our website, it's slingertool.com.
So pull that one back up. The difference between that one and this one is instead of this piece, you're going to have the whole handle, yeah?
Correct. You can hold the whole
So
handle.
you're going to have the
Mhm.
tri-edge, you're going to have the blade, and then you're either having a handle or you're having this.
Yes.
Got it.
And these will fit either in your jean pocket, your little tiny pocket that you have right above the right side, or on your belt. And they're pretty comfortable anywhere.
Yeah, it's just, I like how it just feels really good. Like it feels, it's, I don't know how to describe it. It feels so solid. It's not heavy, but it's not light. It's like, I mean, it's light, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like it feels like the right density to where you're like, this feels like a quality piece, but it's obviously, I don't know, the weight of maybe like a cell phone, maybe a little heavier than a cell phone with all the tools in it,
Yeah,
like a bigger cell
roughly. I
phone.
mean, I never really felt it drag on my belt or my pocket at any time. This one is a little lighter, of course, but
Uh huh.
we're talking about grams, not that much.
So wait, hold on. I might have missed it because I'm playing with this thing. But where is it available to buy if somebody wants to buy one right now?
Oh, it's slingertool.com.
So Slinger, which is what that says, and then tool.com. So is Slinger going to be the name of this tool, or is that the brand of the tools that you will be
The company
developing?
name. The company name. That one is the Outlaw. Like I say, I like the Western theme. And the other one that I just held up is the Desperado.
Okay, got it. How much are they?
That one right there without the tools is 75, and the other one is the same price, 75 without the tools. And then I have another option on the page if you want to go ahead and have us load the tools in it and do the hole for you. The hole doesn't get in the way at all when I'm using it. I mean, as far as like laying film or anything,
What
it's just
doesn't? What
the
doesn't
little
get in the
hole
way?
that I've cut in each one
Where? Which hole? What do you mean?
in the tools,
Oh, the
in the
tool.
tri-edge
Oh,
card,
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah. No, how could it? It's perfect. I really like it. Like, I mean, you instantly just put your finger in there, and it's the best way to pull it out because that's the first thing. You're not going to want to be doing this. It could be
right.
annoying, but with the, I mean, it's right here. And let me hold on one second.
Sure.
I just hang- voila, I have a purple tri-edge.
I was waiting
So
for you
we're
to. I
gonna.
thought you would already have one in there,
I would
but
have thought I would have had one in there already too, but not that equipped today. So this doesn't fit at all.
that's the bigger one. Is that the bigger
This is
tri?
the bigger one. Yeah, it doesn't fit. I'll hold them up for comparison. So I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Well, we're making other models. Not every tenor uses a tri. I use the
No, this is a
white
different.
Teflon card,
Uh huh.
and we cut them in an angle. Break them in half to make you a little pointy card.
Yeah.
So I plan on making other hard card models. That way, if you use a little chiseler on top of it, or you use something else,
Hmm.
then we'll make models cater to that tenor because we want to change the tool when you're used to what you like.
Right. 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 Exactly. So I imagine there'll be just you'll have requests for different variations and so on. But I think what you've developed here is kind of a nice compact way to hold anything really, and I'm sure you'll just kind of keep reinventing what you hold in here, different combinations and so on. But like, I like it. It's cool. Like, I don't know. So you said slingertool.com, right?
Yes,
And
and
then
then we have
Facebook
to
too,
answer
right?
the rest. Do it now.
Oh, Facebook too, yeah.
Yes. To answer the rest of your question, we do have models that we'll send fully loaded, and they're pretty much the price of what the tools would cost on any distributor you would get them from. I'm not trying to make a profit on tools. I just want to have them in there and cut the hole for them if they want them already prepped,
Well, I
already
would
ready.
think you might even get a deal from the tool distributors if you're going to be loading them in here because that's a nice thing for a tool distributor to have a tool that's made to carry their tool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That
that's
one
really cool.
is catered to the Fusion because the Fusion has a rounded top. But with that said, it'll also fit your regular turbos that you would get. I'm not sure of the brands of turbos. There's so many of them out there.
Yeah,
But your regular flat top turbo, it'll fit that one as well.
nice. Well, that's freaking really cool, man. I mean, it was like a couple months ago that you were like, I mean, you posted a video of you making a mold, like it was like a month or so ago. The fact that you made this and colored it, and I mean, what's your background? How do you know how to do this?
I'm really just a jack of all trades. I mean, I do a lot. I like to build stuff. I like to create stuff. And really, the background is twirling my squeegee on my hip and then going and grabbing Bondo and then finding, okay, I need to cast it because injection molds are, for that kind of tool, would be quite expensive to start out, obviously. So I just did some casting videos and learned the basics. They really didn't have a lot. They went to how to fit my part in there because it's a really weird part if you want to get a nice, no seam or whatever.
Hmm.
So I had to kind of figure that one out on my own, and I did, and that's what I did. I just kept making molds. I probably made about 15 molds and threw away all of them but one, and then the other one, of course.
I mean, what really impresses, like, I mean, look, the way it feels, I think you'll just see, like, again, I'm in no way selling this, but I'm just, I feel like this is what Tint Wisdom is all about. You're making something a lot of people probably don't know about it, and like, I'm just excited and happy to have the opportunity to share this. But like the way it the way it feels, it just feels like, I mean, it's not janky at all, and like, not that you would make something that's janky, but typically when something's new, the first versions are janky of anything, right? But like you figured out the janky and made it feel like a really, like you said, there's no seams. It's really smooth. There's no sharp edges. There's no nothing. And what I like too about this is, other than the blade hanging off the side, there's no sharp edges on this. It's not metal. There's no nothing. So other than your blade, which is probably going to be in your hand more than not when you're working, you're not gonna, if you, God forbid, bang this into something, at least it's not metal. You don't have a ton of stuff hanging off your waist to where you could bang in many directions. You have this in one place, kind of towards the back, so you're not bumping it. And I don't know, I really like it.
I wore that in my pocket, right in my pocket, not in the little, even the upper pocket for the whole time I used it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only area I really had for concern would have been like leaning over and shrinking a back window, obviously, because depending on the window, you may have to lean over a little bit. And I never touched the blade, anything. I did check, always looked, but I never found the blade ever hitting. The only thing that ever would touch if I got close enough with it on my front pocket would have been the actual face of the tool, which again is paint. So you'd have to really,
Got it.
you could,
Right.
if you were that close on a car with jeans, you could have that little rivet you have above your pocket scratch the hell out of paint if you're not
Exactly. It
careful.
shouldn't be like you're not rubbing up against the vehicle. I mean, if you're wearing a belt, like, you can't be like, you're not. Yeah, that'd be a problem in itself. So I don't know what's next with this. Like, just marketing, getting out to market. Is there? I mean, is this is ready to go? Yeah.
Yeah, those are ready to go. This one's ready to go. The only thing that would take time, I'd take about a week to a week and a half for delivery because I offer custom paint. Um, there's no way to offer something to somebody and they go, okay, I like the yellow, but I really want this. And then what do I buy another one when I want to get the color I want? So I thought, no, I paint them individually anyway. Whatever color you want, if I can get it, I'll paint it that color. And I'm putting up a page tonight for hydro dipping because
Hmm.
that's why the clip is separate. The original ones you can see has no separated clip.
Right. And then
It's
this one
all one
does.
piece. That was really hard to make for too. The reason why that is it's easier to hydro dip them. So I'm gonna have hydro dipping patterns on the page. There's so many patterns you can
So
do.
hydro dipping, for people who don't know, it's a wet process to basically, you have basically like a tank of water. You put the hydro dipping film. The film's a pattern, and it's like a thin film. And with some chemicals and some magic, you dip it down. It wraps around there, and basically you can put any design. Like, you can put like a print basically on anything. Right. That's a carbon fiber. I mean, hydro dipping is very popular with like guns because it's not thick like a vinyl. It goes on there and it basically becomes the surface, once you clear it after, protect it however you do after.
Yeah, it's really durable. It's really good for a paint, and I mean for a patterned material. I thought it was amazing. I watched him dip those, and that it was really cool.
Yeah, nice, man. Congratulations! I'm excited for you with this.
Thank you.
Um, so, jumping around to the visual tinter, how does this, like? I don't know. This would take my whole day. I feel like I would just want to promote. Are you doing both still? Does this become your new focus, or is it
No, I
still
do
doing both?
everything. I do the websites. I do my IT guy does the coding for the visual tenor. It's in HTML5, and that's a little above my coding experience.
Mm.
I've done Adobe Flash and Action Scripting, but that's it. So no, I do everything. Uh, the visual tenor really the only work I have besides handling customers, of course, and taking care of them really is updating once a year with new cars, new vehicles, any new options that we want to bring out. I have just went live with the residential commercial version, and it's just really the same thing. It just shows how it's going to look inside, how it's going to look outside, your pricing and things like that. But no, I would love to get people involved. Hire somebody to do some of the work for me, but that comes with time. So for
Okay.
now, I can handle it.
So, okay, jumping a little bit around, sorry. Matt Blackmore asked a great question. He said, do you still use a tool pouch for extra tools? So if you need, if you have to, you're using more than those 3 or 4 tools, like, what do you plan to, like, I don't know, use two of them? Like, what do you think?
if it doesn't get too bulky, depending on what extra tools you need. I mean, a lot of like I made a tool about 18 years ago to get behind the brake light. Uh, and that wasn't needed for every single car, so I kept it on my roll around cart, grabbed it when I needed it. So I feel like some of the tools that are out there today, they're needed for specific cars, specific things on a car, depending. And I don't feel like that if you don't want to carry that with you all day, most tenders have a roll around cart. I always have my roll around cart, a little tray on the bottom. Loved it. I figured that's where they would keep them, or even in the apron. I'm not. This is not to replace an apron in any way. This is just if you don't want to wear an apron all day, or for a car. Oh, I got this car. It's cake. I just need these three tools. I'll throw my chisel in my pocket for right now, or whatever. Then it's there for you. You don't have to wear that. Like I said, because I developed an ingroin hernia from skydiving and wearing an apron with more tools in it, and getting in back seats. But yeah, I plan on developing now from this. I've already been working on it. There is room to add an additional tool. I mean, I could make one, which I am making one, to
Hmm.
use with a chiseler. If you want your chiseler handy, then there it is. And I'm looking through all the other tools. I guess the biggest thing I want to find out from tenors is what their go-to tools are. If it's not something for one particular car, what do you really need the most? Do you need your chiseler as well as your hard card? And what hard card do you prefer? And then make a combination of those from that model right there.
Yeah, because it's basically like without the mold, like every combination you make, you're creating a mold. Um, so I could get how
For
that
me, that's
could.
not really a problem, though. I mean, I look at it like this. I'm going to make extra molds for that one right now at the current time. And if I'm making another mold, that's really just making another mold. I'm making a model out of it the same way I would that one. So if someone says, "Hey, guess what? I need the chiseler. I have a chiseler in this tool, and I have a mold for it," then obviously it's just another job. So it's just as simple as doing the first one.
Do you have to patent something like this?
You don't have to. I've poor man
No, I
patent
mean,
and I have a patent. I
yeah.
poor man patent like 7 years ago, but that's the ugly model.
Okay.
And no, I have a patent pending on it right now.
Okay.
That one in the Desperado.
Nice. So Jamal asked if you could custom make his if he wanted. I guess the answer is probably what would you like custom about it because you can make them to specific. Oh, he said for the tools that he uses. So that's the plan, right? Just to use
Yeah.
Tinter's feedback to create them as there's demand. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, the answer is absolutely.
Probably the hardest tool to put on it that people use commonly would be the Conqueror. It's rather big, but I've already got something working to see about fitting it in a different place where it's still accessible, not in the way, and I can still put everything else I want to on there.
And just to note, just to bring up the name, Slinger Tools, no affiliation with Film Slingers, obviously.
Oh,
Right. Just putting that out there for anybody who might.
no, no, that's fine. The reason why I actually went with that, because like I said, when I made the quick draw, I was all excited about it. Of course, I like the name; it's cool. It's the Western theme. And then I realized it was a gentleman with quick draw aprons. So I thought, well, I don't want to step on toes, and I don't want to talk to him and ask him, can I do this tool like that? Because that's still the same thing in a way.
Yeah.
So me and my wife were sitting around, and I was like, well, I still want to go with the Western theme, kind of, because it's a holster, like a gunslinging holster, and then I heard someone on the forum, I forget who, it was a while back, say, I've been slinging tent all day. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot about that term. I haven't slung tent in a little while. So slinger, gun slinger. And I thought, well, that's better. And then I'm not stepping on toes. I still got what I want, the Western theme. And yeah. So that's the name of the company, of course. And each model will be named differently based on how many Western names I can come up with before I run out of them.
It's freaking really cool.
Well, thank
So,
you.
$75 and slingertool.com for anybody who might have started watching this late that's interested in what we're talking about. It's a new tool. It's basically a very compact, sturdy holster with different variations of tool holding.
And here's,
And then there's the other model. Keep it right in the center. Yeah, yeah, because it's yeah, perfect. That's
there's no knife in this one. I gave you my good knife the other day.
thank you. Cody Becker asked, "How is it for a short, fat guy?" I would think perfect. Yeah.
Well, that depends on, I guess, a few factors, but I would say since you can wear it, I mean, maybe you might not want to wear it on your pocket. You could wear it on your belt clip on your side, and of course, I've gotten the hips, or the belly over the years a little bit.
Stand
So
up
it's my
pussy.
hit it on the side,
Yeah.
only in the front. But I would say you wear it on your side. It might be comfortable even in the front, really, because it goes all the way down to your pocket and it rests below your belt line by about a couple of inches.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Really excited for you, and it's cool to see something like this come out, and that like extension from Tinter to using the successes that you came across and the ideas that you came across into things that can affect everybody, and again, just make people's lives easier.
That's what I like about it. I mean, I never expected to be a tenor, obviously. I was just on the right phone at the right place at the right time.
Hmm.
Uh, but I like building stuff. And the first tool I ever made, um, it helped me so much. I mean, I used a 5-weight tool, and of course it has the big handle on it. So I'm trying to get behind the brake light, and it worked okay, but not like I wanted it to. I just bent the end up with a heat gun, and it worked all right. And it was harder plastic, so even with a paper towel, you had a chance of tearing your film when you're putting it in,
Hmm.
not cleaning it enough when you're prepping. And I was working at the dashboard store in La Mesa, California, with a gentleman named Joe Lyons, and he did commercial. And I didn't do commercial. He had another guy, and a roll of film came in with all our tools in the commercial box. So I popped it open, and I saw a big wide card from Jeff Sphere. He runs Tint Wizard in Huntington Beach, California. I'm not sure if he's still active in it. He was having some issues to work, but anyway, that's his company. And when I saw it, I knew what I was going to do with it right away. It was, just it's a almost see-through card. And do you mind for 1 second if I get one real quick? I
Do
think
it.
I
Yeah,
have one
yeah,
right
do
here.
it. Absolutely.
Yep.
For sure. So these purple triages will be available really, really, really soon. And just, if anybody wanting one, just keep an eye on our Facebook or watch these Tint Wisdoms and we'll announce when they come out. But they're going to be free and there's going to be plenty of them. And then we plan to have them available moving forward indefinitely, hopefully. So that's exciting. And hopefully we can get one that fits the bigger tri-edge in here. Yeah. We're going to
Yeah,
work that out after this.
I've even already ordered some bigger tri-edges just for that future development in case they want to use that one. And that one probably I could use both if they used both tri-edges, small and the medium. But this is what he had,
Hmm.
and it was just a commercial tool. And I just grabbed it right away. I said, I hope you can order another one because I said this one's mine. I don't know what you have today, but I'm taking this one. I already bent it, and I bent it up and made that, and that worked. I mean, that got behind the brake light really well. I used it for probably the last 4 years of my tinting career, I guess.
Hmm.
And I felt really good about it, and I wanted to sell it. I wanted to get it out there, not just for the money. I mean, because you're in business, of course, but I really wanted to make other tenners' day a little easier. And I mean, ripping the deck out of a car when it's covering the brake light, and you can't take it out like you could back in the '90s, where you could just take just a little brake light out. I thought that would save time during the day. I've ripped out a lot of back seats and decks just to get the brake light out. So I just wanted the recognition for it. I was proud to do it, and that's what I did with the tool here. Of course, I wasn't active when I did the VisualTinter, so I wasn't in the industry as much to see like the tools that are coming out now. Obviously, tenors are creating them, inventing them. They're I need this right here to make it work on it, and they do it, and they do it, and they sell it. So I have, but this is something that I really felt like would help in regards to having, because I'm a tool, and yes, I will use a tool if I needed it for a specific car, but I didn't come across that very often. And again, like, this is before all the new cars that are coming out and the new tools that are being developed.
So
So
Roger Torres asked, how would he make a hole to the tri edges in these tools? Like, what's the easiest way? Are you going to include like a drill bit, or like how will they make their holes?
um, I could, like I said, if you want when you order it, I sell the squeegee at the same price it is on the distributor. So wherever you're getting it from, it's not going to cost you any more. I'm happy to drill the hole for you and send that with you. If you don't want the whole line of tools, I'll put some different options up to have, just a squeegee, just a tri-edge. These are not really the hardest one to make is that squeegee one. That hole is the hardest one to make because that rubber is super tough.
So anybody can just like resupply any of these tools directly through you, hole included, same price that they would be paying anywhere else.
Yes.
Nice. And then if they do want to make a hole, you would probably just share the size drill bit, and that's how you do it, right? Just drill it.
What I found the easiest way to do it was is there's some your depth bits that smaller to bigger. I have a really big depth bit because since that's so tough, you really can't put just a large bit in there. It'll just rip it right out of your hands. I
Mhm.
know. So I use the depth bit, and it's a rather large one, but that's how I was able to get the hole I want, and then I sand it just to make it fit my finger so I can twirl it. Of course, I got a bigger finger now. If you got a bigger finger, you might need a bigger hole. I may have to start doing ring sizes. You say, what's your well, not your ring finger, but what's your pointing finger size? And yeah, but at least if you don't want to do that, at least it's a good grip to pull it out of the pouch.
Yeah, so I mean, I think best answer to that is just resupply through you, hole already there, and keep it easy.
Yeah.
So, visual tinter wise, tell me. You said you just released a residential commercial version. Um,
Yes.
House shades of tint. Do you have different brands on there? What's it look like as of now?
Well, I'm doing all the tints, setting up the tints today. I've already added a lot of images and so forth, but I'm getting all the tints customized. The tints on a residential commercial obviously are a lot different than automotive. You have kind of limited to dye, high performance ceramic. Very few companies out there have a nice hue to it, like Onyx or maybe even like the old Auto Lux had a green tint to it.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a little more in depth with the commercial films, but that's where we're at. I'm just adding a lot of films today, readjusting all the specs. Uh,
So, is there a difference between the brands? Like, if I pick like a 40% shade for a home, is there a difference between like two different brands, 40% as far as how that looks on the visual tinter?
yes, we have pretty much every film manufacturer in there that does residential commercial,
Hmm.
and then you would be able to show, just like the automotive, you'd be able to show uh, only the brands that you carry, and it can even go down to the types or the percentages. So, say you carried Platinum Plus, but you didn't carry one of their shades. We can take out the shade. We can take out another type if you didn't carry their dye film, which is as Formula One. So, but I mean, like if you didn't carry Lumar's dye, we can take out the ATC,
Yeah.
any brand, and just
So,
show only what you have.
because I mean, a lot of just to circle back, Jordan asked, "What is Visual Tinter?" I may have missed it. So, Visual Tinter is a software you developed for yourself originally, or
Yes.
you started using. You had great success using it as like an upsell tool for automotive. So, it's a film visualizer for automotive, and then now we're talking about the introduction of a flat glass version. Yeah.
Yes, the automotive, we have professional backgrounds, three different angles, side, front, and rear. So you can look at any of those in factory colors too. So when you pull up a guy's Honda Accord, he's like, "Well, mine's blue." Well, we only have the red one. No, you have every factory color that's there, so you can show that guy his car, and he can see what it looks like from that point. And then when the residential, right now it's in its beginning stages, so we obviously probably wouldn't have your customer's house that you're going to do a bid on, but we would have colonial houses or modern houses
Different
or art.
styles, right?
Yes. In the future development, we plan to have something where you might be able to, you can do a bid and actually show that customer's house. Say you went there one day, took some pictures, got some measurements. Back tomorrow, we'll give you an estimate. You can come back with it on your laptop, iPad, whatever, and then show them their actual house being tinted with your options.
It's really cool. So, how do you? What's the process? Not very specifically, but I mean, what's the process of like accounting for the different, I guess, hues and tones of the different brand window films? Because I think to me, one of the reasons why I was never like a huge visual, like a tinter, like what's the general term, like like a tint visualizer
Right.
fan, was just feeling like it's not accurate, even when it comes directly from the brand, because that's who typically makes them. Feeling like, well, it's just putting like like maybe a black 35% transparent over the window, and like is that really showing the film? And
Right.
you're kind of getting beyond that, right, and making it more specific to the actual brand of film.
Well, yes, yes, yeah, oh, yes, exactly. Now, the way I've seen it with Autolux, not many films. Once you get too dark on some that have a hue, on the outside it still might look black. It might look charcoal with a little bit of a shine. But once you get inside, you can obviously see the color, no matter what window it is and how dark it is. The way we have it set up is I have three different options, inside and outside. And then no matter what the outside looks like, if it's Matico Onyx, for example, I can make the inside blue. Now, Matico Onyx, obviously 35 would show a blue outside or inside, wouldn't matter. But I can make it that way. So there's an inside view, there's an outside view. And on the automotive, we just have a rear view mirror. which is good enough. You can see how it is backing up, how dark it's going to be, the color. That would show up on the inside looking out view. And then,
Got it. So you have,
go ahead.
okay, so just to recap, you have outside view, which is fairly common, just how the vehicle looks from the outside, but you have an inside view because that's obviously like if somebody's undecided on, if somebody's using this visualizer, they're probably using it to figure out what shade of film they should use for the most part. I would think that would be the mechanism. And one of the main concerns is not really how does it look from the outside looking in. I mean, that's definitely one of them. But the other one is, well, am I going to be able to see out? And typically, that's not worrying about seeing out the sides as much as it is when you're reversing, because that's where things get squirrely. So you have that as something they can actually visualize ahead of time.
Correct. Yeah, no, I did, one second, I'm pulling something up here real fast. I did the rearview mirror because it was convenient. I know I could do a door shot. Obviously, we'll put that there in the future. But I did the rearview mirror because it killed two birds with one stone. One, it showed you how dark it was going to be in the back, looking out of your rearview mirror, looking behind yourself or whatever. It also shows the hue and the color tone of any particular film that might be off of the charcoal or the regular dye. And so that worked out really well. You know, it's two birds right there. It shows them how it's going to look and how dark it's going to be backing out. So, I mean, that's one of the questions I think I heard the most, waiting for a sales guy to finish, you know, bring to get the car in the back so I can tint it, was, well, I wear glasses, or I'm not wearing them now, but at night I do, and it's going to be really hard to back up. And how dark do I want it? And they'd stand there for 5, 10 minutes with the keys in their hand, and but then they'd get to it. And when I used it in my shop, I really felt like they didn't stand there very long at all. They go, oh yeah, okay, that limo. Oh no, 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 that's too dark. Okay, one shade lighter. That's perfect. Great. Give me your keys. Now I'm doing it. So it saved me a little bit of time. I mean, I was a one-man shop. I didn't do more than 5 cars a day, 6 cars a day on a busy day, depending. Uh, so it helped me, but I thought for bigger businesses, you know, it might save a little time. You got 3 installers, you do 20, 25 cars a day with plotters. Now you can do even more. Um, you know, maybe you throw an extra car in that day, you know, a walk-in or something, and go, hey man, we got done quicker. Not necessarily, you know, it's going to be that way with every shop or whatever, but I just like the fact that they were able to make their mind up quicker and be happy. They knew how dark it would be.
Yeah, it's a nice part of the sales process to make it work like that because you know the smoother the sales process. If this is a wow moment for the customer, where they're wow, I can see what it looks like before I pick it. I think as many little wow moments you can give the customer along the way with the sales process, that is going to have a effect on the happiness of the customer and potentially how much they spend with you. Oh, there you go.
Real close for you.
So
It's
yeah, no, we can see it. What's the website for visual? Is it visualtinter.com?
correct.
All right, so visual, because I mean, if anybody wants to pull this up while we're talking or after, it's visualtinter.com. So the two sites we're talking about today is Slinger Tool, singular, right? Slinger Tool.
It's Slinger Tools,
Okay.
but we're going with Slinger Tool right now, and you can have one direct to the other.
Okay, so either way, Slinger Tools. I like Slinger Tools. We'll just go slingertools.com and visualtinter.com if you're looking for reference as to what we're talking about with this tool, and then also what we're talking about with the Visual Tinter. So,
Currently, the Slinger Tool is the one active. The Slinger Tools is we're still redirecting it, so if you want to go to it, it'll be Slinger Tool individually right now.
yeah, all right. Slingertool.com, individual. All right. And anything coming up with the Visual Tinter that you want to note?
In the automotive program, I'm looking to add a few more features. I really don't want to talk about too many of them. Um, but one, I don't know if I want to talk about any of them right now.
That's okay. If you don't want to talk about it, is one of them a CRM?
No, no, not at
I'm
all.
just,
No, I'm not trying to compete with you.
I'm
No,
just
not at
kidding.
all. No, that's fine. But I'm
Okay.
not. It's really, well, the one thing that we want to do that's not really a big deal is I really want to put out something that enables them to customize their interface a little more. Now, our interface is customizable to your business because you can add your business logo. Like this was my shop way back in the day, Factory Tent, and
Okay.
that was my logo. So I like doing that branding to a point, but you know, maybe their website has a particular theme and they're like you, really love the purple, really love the orange or the yellow on their website, then we want to have something available for them where they can actually simply change their interface options, maybe just in a color, or maybe even some positioning for a few things. Not nothing too in depth right now, but something like that to where it's a little more brandable to their company for their website. or in the showroom, either way.
Got it. And then in the showroom, if they have it set up like if you're using a touch screen, you can do the whole thing on a touch screen. Like you could potentially have a screen mounted to your wall or on your counter, and you could be doing this with touch. Is that possible?
Yeah, you can do a touchscreen. It's all in HTML5, so it's all very compatible. One thing I like, since people have brought me all kinds of ideas, or they've said, "Look, I put it on a smart TV." I'm like, "Well, okay, that's great. Big smart TV on the wall. They're really cheap now, of course." The
Mhm.
one thing I thought of one night was, I watch movies. I watch, Avengers, whatever, action movies and stuff. And in some of these sci-fi movies, I've seen, here's the scientist and he's doing something, but it's in front of him. He's like,
Sure.
okay, here it is there, and you're watching what he's doing, but he's over here working it on his hand or his tablet or whatever. And my wife connects to YouTube on the smart TV from her iPad, and I thought, I think that would be really cool if you're using it in your sales room, your
Yeah.
showroom, whatever, and you're with your customers, and you're connecting it, you're working it through your iPad, but you're connecting it to your TV. So they're looking at the big screen, but you don't have to touch anything,
Right.
and you're just working it right there for them, and it's just happening for them right there. I thought that's a really cool way uh, to do a sale, at least, or to show them what they want to see.
I agree because if it's on a large iPad on the counter, then touchscreen's perfect. But if you're projecting it on a screen, if you have it on a big screen, you don't want to be playing Vanna White up on the wall, touching everything and like getting your hands all over it. It makes way more sense to do it on an iPad or iPhone or whatever it is projected out
Yeah,
there.
keyboard and mouse sitting out there for people to mess with, a kid to grab if the parent's not watching them or something while they're waiting for their car. But yeah, I thought that was just a really cool way. I wish I had that. We didn't have the iPad and smartphones when I invented it, so I'm thinking, I wish we did. That would have been really cool.
So you're obviously a creative person. I don't. I'm super impressed
Thank you.
with how quickly. You put it out there that you wanted to get this made, and then here it is, and it's really cool. Are there any other things that you feel would be a great benefit to the industry, whether they be tools or technology or anything at all that you do not plan on making, so you might as well throw it out into the ether and see if maybe somebody else wants to do it? Or
Maybe not, maybe since I'm not on hands like I used to be right now, I'm not in a shop working out of a tent shop. And of course, there's new things happening every day. I mean, we sat there with a heat gun for years, doing strips when we could have just shrunk that film and we didn't know it. So probably not in that area. Uh, no, I guess I don't really, other than what I would make for the industry, and that would be if I ever went back in there and started looking around or seeing if there was something for this particular problem someone was having, which I'd like to do. I'd like to do that sometime. I mean, I like being in a tent shop. That's my people. I mean, that's the only really career that I've ever had that was a career, not just working at a fast food joint. So, yeah, other than that, no, I'd say just new tools, development, unless I have an awesome idea or something. I see something I might be able to develop for. I do have one tool I do want to do. I don't know how big of an issue it is, and I don't know if something's already been done for it, but that's back when I did, I like going behind the brake light. And when a Honda Accord would come in, I want to say your 2000-ish model, just like the Mercedes, it had the quarter windows with the coverage around the back, and it's so close to the glass. Uh, Something for that. I mean, I think that they still have models out there like that have that particular issue that you have to come across. And I made something that was really cool out of a Teflon card. So probably something like that. Another model, another tool. I like making tools. I like making your day easier. I mean, I like making my day easier when I was 10. So we just had less difficult cards to come through. Our worry cards were like, oh, I got a Porsche 944. Well, it's going to take as long, or you're going to get charged more. Or a Cutlass Supreme, which you're like, yeah, that's $800. Thank you.
so you'll probably make
But no, not really.
PPF installation variations, wrap variations. Is that in the works?
We plan on having models for wraps. Are we saying now? Are we saying about
Oh,
wrapping
like maybe
tool
like
or?
a PPF configuration, and then like wrap configuration, and so on.
Yes, my wife's brother-in-law. I guess that'd be my brother-in-law, or brother-in-law. I don't know how that works. He he's in PPF and wraps, and he does that. So we were talking a few times. I told him about this tool, and I said, "What do you use?" And I've asked in the forum before, what do you use for PPF? What do you use for wrap? And based on the response I got the most of being almost like the double-edged card that we use for tent that has a nice suede edge on it.
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then of course your air popper.
Mhm.
I've got a couple for that for wrap and PPF that I've worked on. I just need to develop them so they can do that because my wife was in vinyl. That's what she did for like 6 years.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I mean, flat, even like yeah, right, flat glass vinyl installation. Every like, there's configurations for a lot, I would imagine. Have you talked to any tool, or do you plan on, or have you, or like maybe talking to any tool distributors, like a 44 Tools? And I would imagine they kind of probably have the insight over so many decades of what even people are buying in what configurations like together. You know, I'm sure they could pull those sorts of numbers. You could pretty much reverse engineer the tools and then distribute to them. Is that kind of like a plan, or do you plan on keeping this direct from you to consumer?
I wasn't really sure how well it would take off. Now, there's a lot of old school tenders. I found that out that still, do their thing. They have their essential tools. Of course, they use other tools naturally, but I really wasn't sure how well it would be taken into the tent industry, seeing how there's so many new tools out for so many particular cars or jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to. I think I got more positive feedback that there were still guys. Yes, I would put that on my pocket. I can use these essentials if I need to grab my bigger tool or the special tool. I'll go get it, or it's right there on my cart or already have it in the seat, something like that maybe. Um, yeah, no, definitely. I have a one like this that I've worked. Some people use this for cars, and they use it for residential too sometimes.
Yep.
Some people use the 8-inch blade. So we've got one in development for the 8-inch blade. It's pretty much the same model. The blade just sticks down at the bottom. And that's really it.
Really cool, man. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about today that we didn't get into, or missed?
Not really. Other than the fact that, like I said, if you want to get the tool, we do custom colors, hydro dipping, however you want it. I'm even willing to go as far as two-tone. If you want a nice two-tone paint on it or whatever, the handle clip done is the same as the whole body or whatever. Just yeah.
So hydro dipping wise, I know there's like a million and one patterns out there. Do you know, is it feasible to print your own pattern for a hydro dip, or are you picking from a library?
I'm picking from a library now. I have the guy that I go to has his own set of patterns, and then he has a site that he also gets patterns from. They have a bigger library of patterns. So that would what I would do with him. Now, yeah, you can get whatever you want with hydro dipping. If you want a picture of your wife on there, of your car, or your logo or whatever, we could do branding like that. We could take a pattern with your logo going across it, either in a watermark print or one place, depending on where you want it at on the tool. So you can really do whatever you want with hydro dipping. Now, when you pick your own custom pattern, you're going to be the only one using it, obviously. It is a little more expensive to do one in a hydro dipping tank because even the smallest tank is 10 times larger than the tool, but not a lot. I mean, if I were to say it was $12 to $15 to hydro dip one for your own custom pattern, it might be 25. If you really want your car, whatever picture you want there, I would spend $10 to do that myself.
Yeah.
So it is available though, yes.
Nice. Really cool, man. Well, definitely want to talk about getting some of these with some Tint Wiz branding on them, and I look forward to seeing how this goes. I mean, based on the feedback from the comments, based on my own feedback from holding and so on, I think it's going to be a big success, and congratulations.
I hope people like it. I enjoyed it. I love tinting. I really loved it so much better for what I needed at the time. You know what I mean? And I was, I like to show it off too, so that was fun.
Cool, man. Well, slingertool.com is where you can get this. And so, just to recap for anybody who might have missed the beginning, and just to kind of put it out there, the way people can help you develop this even further is by reaching out to you and kind of telling you what configurations they would like to see in there. And
Yeah.
that is going to go get, that's going to help you make those products for them. So it's one of those things where if you're wondering, are you going to make it for certain tools, or you wish you would make it for certain tools, it's as easy as reaching out to you. And what is the best way to reach out to you? Through the website, I would imagine.
Website or our phone number, either way is fine. Through Facebook, you can shoot me an email from our website if you want. It's really up to them. We're here pretty much all the time. I work from home. I was thinking you were going to hear a 2.5-year-old screaming because he's out in the pool, but good, you didn't. So yeah, no, either one of those ways is just fine.
And Ryan Trolson put in the comments, I'm totally sold. As an old school tinter, I think this tool is pretty cool. I've used Pouch for 26 years. It's definitely it can be a great addition for the basic essential tool carrier, and that's what it is. It's not. It's obviously not going to hold all your tools. You don't want it to hold all your tools, but it's one of those things like you can have one of these in the car like this, and anywhere you go, like you can grab it and you can go anywhere. And you have what you need. It's not a matter of where's that, where's this. It's not a matter of putting a bunch of things in a bag and having a bag. Like at the end of the day, it's got to be in something, and this is certainly a freaking cool option.
Well, thank you.
Cool.
I think it kind
So
of looks like a spaceship in the front.
it does. It's just a cool shape. I don't know. I don't want to keep going on and on and keep saying. I might have said cool 1,000 times during this
I used to
Tint
like
Wisdom, but say
daughter
again.
running around with it like this.
No, well, slingertool.com. And Wayne, thanks for coming on here and sharing this. Thanks for sending this to me. I'm not sending it back to you. I don't know if you intended me to send
No,
it back to you, but I'm not. And
that's
and and yeah, thanks. I want to talk to you about putting patterns on here. So let's disconnect and have a
all
great
right.
night, everyone. Tomorrow we'll be back for a roundtable. It's titled The Shit Show, and it's with the Window Tinters Feud group. So we'll be back for that tomorrow on Thursday. And then tomorrow's Tint Wisdom is going to be the last one on the Tint Wiz page. We're moving over to the Tint Wisdom Facebook page and Tint Wisdom YouTube page. They're getting their own page. They're getting their own website. So if you haven't subscribed to the Tint Wisdom page, subscribe because eventually you're not going to be able to watch it on Tint Wiz. Eventually, as of next week. So thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and have a great night, everyone.
Thank you very much.